Hello and welcome to Follow Everton. You are meeting Aussie Chris here in a hotel room with some funky lighting here, but there's an aura of optimism in the room, a lot more than I have right now for those that are just streaming on. Thank you for those who are joining right now. Mr. Blue Skies has announced the lineup that came through on Twitter through the official announcement that shows that our first opportunity to show our white, creamy uniforms this season, we are going to be dressed in the horrible setup of Ashley Young at right back, straight back into the squad after a suspension. Michael Keane has kept his place. Mikalenko is in, and it looks like a very much 4-4-2 type of setup. So, what that instills and looks like for us will be something like this today. Whoop, get me set up. So, we have something like this, where basically it was almost an unchanged squad, actually, from what we had against um, Bournemouth prior to the international break. Mikalenko was in, Keane was in, Tarkovsky was in. Ashley Young is taking the place of the injured Seamus Coleman, who is not in the squad today. The midfield is unchanged with the new workhorse of the squad being Tim Irigbunam, Messiah Idrissa Gana Gay. What we are not seeing is Abdoulaye Doucouré, which is an interesting twist. We are seeing in that 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-1 out of possession. We're seeing McNeil, Harrison, and Jai probably all alternating looks in the middle, with Njai liking to play off the left more often, and McNeil liking the middle but being very one-footed, as we know. And Harrison stuck with he's the best right footer of the three of them, so he's out on the right side but prefers using his left, and DCL isolated. So for the Aston Villa squad, their announcement was Luca Dean is playing. It's a very unchanged lineup, except for the fact that Jacob Ramsey, who came on for the injured, I'm forgetting his name now, their the right winger that came off injured last match. Ramsey came on, then got subbed off before the end of the 90 minutes. So I think in the midfield they're not really well set up at the moment, but they've got a pretty set up. They were worried about Konza not playing, but he will be starting for Aston Villa, along with Pau Torres. The Yuri Tielemans, Amadou Onana, Belgian starting central midfield for Aston Villa is going to be quite interesting today. I think we might be in for quite a domination in there, but it really depends on the running of Tim Irigbunam and how well Idrissa Gana Gay can either coordinate press or have recovery interceptions and cause a menace there. The one benefit I think we do have is they seem to have four centre halves playing in the midfield here. So Ramsey is more of a box to box, but thrown out on the wing. And John McGinn, quite an excellent player. He's a lot more of a narrow plays narrow. So what you're likely to see is a combination of Luca Dean teaming up against Ashley Young on the right. I am scared that he's going to get another red card real quick here, but I guess Luca Dean maybe doesn't have the pace he previously did. And to Peter Duggan's point, what will the excuse be? Well, probably that no one else was ready or something to that effect. For Nortil, unfortunately, I promised my wife I would only do the pre-match, and then we are going to enjoy a nice unrelated to football night out here in Sorrento. So no watch along today. The setup and the internet may well cut out for that period, but at some point I would certainly like to do them again. It's just very tricky when I'm on the road with unreliable internet to do so. So outside of that, the feeling that the manager is a joke. Why can't we play Dixon? I feel very much the same way. I've wanted to see Dixon play. I've wanted to see Patterson play. He wants people that just seem to have played for 20 years in the Premier League, know what they're doing, but also can't do what they used to do anymore. And I'm getting quite fed up with it. I know all of you on the chat are fed up with it, and I expect when Ryan is free, he's at a wedding. He's going to try and he's getting all of his stuff set up, and he's going to join here hopefully for a few minutes to rant in a way that I just don't do, even if I am very much frustrated everyone else is on this chat right now. So as you were saying for Peter, what's the excuse could be? I'm sure he'll find something, and that's part of what's wearing us out with him. So we see Onana and Barkley, and maybe assisted by Dina celebrating. The one thing I will take as a positive right now is Ollie Watkins is not converting his chances. That doesn't mean he won't get off the score sheet today. Morgan Rogers has been looking quite good for them. He scored a penalty in, I think it was England's, was it under 21s or under 23 match? So maybe he's going to be the one taking penalties. I feel like I could certainly see a very silly challenge from a Michael Keane giving away a penalty, but I'm just not sure how we're going to get much out of today, other than Villa are not firing on all cylinders. They don't have a really well set up right back. They have Lamari Bagade. He played last match, but they're not really well set up there. Luka Dean will play high and wide and advanced, so you need to press on either DCL or Jack Harrison or Eric Bunham on a likely very low block counter attack, trying to charge through in that channel with Dean being advanced, because otherwise I'm not really sure what we come up with. Amadou Onana has been playing impressive with Tielemans. They did quite well against Leicester when they played three very defensive-minded players. So Onana and Tielemans are looking quite good. I expect they would do similar. And to George's point, if we're not going to play Roman Dixon, the only other available right back in the squad, maybe James Garner's an option. I think James Garner is a better player in that spot right now than Ashley Young, but I think it's Roman Dixon did nothing. Oh, a couple, little flat-footed moments, but he was one of the standouts, and we were worried he was going to get completely destroyed by Heung-min Son, but he held up his own. So, and to that point, which George is saying, yes, he is a walking red card. He's maybe not Mason Holgate level, but he's not far away. When he can't keep up, he took the player down, and I'm quite worried about it. We'll quickly look at the injuries and bench players. So, and Emery had a few players out, so that's where I'm saying on that right side, they're not as strong as they could be, because their right wing back, who kind of came in and out of the squad throughout last year, Matty Cash, is still out. Leon Bailey, who's one of the most exciting players when fit and healthy in the Premier League, and Leon Bailey is out. Jaden Philogene will actually be playing today, and then they have Robin Olsen. And Diego Carlos is on the bench, but they thought he was doubtful prior to this update here. And Tyron Mings has been out for a while. But you then look at the likes of Matson, Ross Barkley, Jaden Philogene, and John Duran, all impact players if Everton hold play a low block for a while and decide to really give a challenge to Villa. They have a very dynamic and energetic bench that can give us challenges with those four players. The challenge that we say here with what are we doing with the right back situation, was it Mr. Blue Skies, Peter Duggan, I think it was George all talking about it. I'm not really sure James Garner what is the long-term solution there. I do like at times when you give him a simple project, he can handle it, and as long as he is being kept on a fine leash or told when to mark, he has done well there. Typically when he was doing poor defensively on the right side was when he was on the right wing, when he was not caught tracking back against, I think it was Bobby Decordova-Reid at the beginning of the last season when he filled in and didn't track back. So maybe if he plays right back, he's focused on playing defensively, which is all that Ashley Young can really do there. But the one hopeful thing is, okay, if Luka Dean is playing as a left wing back, is he the most dangerous left winger we have had to deal with? No. Karu Mitoma was a lot more impactful. We're not taking on a Jeremy Doku today. So maybe we are lucky on the flanks, and Ashley Young doesn't get a red card solely because of the opposition we're playing, and there is no Leon Bailey to come in and give us challenges. So who's on the bench for Everton today? We only have one keeper. I guess that's positive. But Roman Dixon, Jake O'Brien, again, why wasn't he given an opportunity today? Well, I guess we'll never know, or we won't get the answer from Dyche, but heck, he's at least there as a fullback. So if someone gets injured, O'Brien's in. Harrison Armstrong, James Garner, Oro Mangala, and Abdoulaye Correa there. So we do have some midfield cover right now. I want to see minutes from James Garner come in. Surprising to me that we have Oro Mangala even playing. I said he just came back in late and to the team. So why is Oro Mangala getting time? Is it solely because we don't have enough squad depth to do so? I know we have Chimiti still out injured, and Broja out injured, Patterson and Branthwaite not available, and Coleman. So maybe that's why. But Oro Mangala, I think he, on a match like this, if he's known to hold possession of the ball and basically, but maybe not as physical, this is not a match for Mangala. I think James Garner and Harrison Armstrong, I would like to see them on, but maybe it's if we're down 1-0 at halftime and we need more energy in the midfield, maybe we do something else and drop, take McNeil out, and we have a flat 3 in the middle and do a 4-3-2-1 or something to that effect. And if we're talking, if James Garner needs to get in the squad right now and he doesn't trust Roman Dixon, I think James Garner is a better shout than what we're seeing, to Mystic Blue Sky's point. But I'm not sure that was for one competition. I wasn't able to watch those matches, unfortunately. But yeah. Now, I haven't checked the most recent scoring on my phone. I can do that briefly. Down the bottom, I have a ticker for the various scores that have happened. So they have just been confirmed. So Man City did beat Brentford 2-1. Great for us as Toffees and Blues. Nottingham Forest had a sneak result and won 1-0 at Liverpool. Fulham were up 1-0, and I'll just quickly change that. They were up 1-0 for a long period there and let their goal advantage slip there late. So Fulham and West Ham drew 1-1. Oh, and to that point, Crystal Palace were also down. They were down 2-0 to Leicester, which was on an early situation for us as relegation fodder. Leicester, them getting any points, especially without their points deduction, corruption as far as I'm concerned, or just incompetency from the Premier League. They at least didn't get all 3 points today. Crystal Palace were down 2-0 at home and came back to snatch a result there at the end. And I think I've put the wrong number up there for Ipswich. Apologies there. They that became a 0-0 stalemate. They're at about half-time when I looked at the results. It was 0 XG for Ipswich, played a really low block, shut down the game, and got their first point away at Brighton, so credit to them. So, yeah, I'm never going to complain for the Reds not having a great day, but it's a little bit sad if we're focusing on the Reds losing at home when we don't have a point in the board. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So outside of that, I mentioned my feeling that we would likely not win today. I think there's a good chance we score, and the fact that we have Iliman and Jai, if he gets any opportunity to play similar to what we did on that match against Bournemouth, granted we're not at Goodison Park and we're against a less good opposition, we controlled that match for a large period, but we did look quite dangerous until, let's say, the 83rd to 87th minute. And wow, welcome from Indonesia. That's great. My friend Adam, who's going to get up, he's still sleeping, but he's going to get up early to watch the match. So great to have people calling in and saying hello from distances away, even if you might be a villain fan. But appreciate you tagging along all the same. Great to have opposition guests tag along as well. So what I think has been really tricky, Mr. Blue Skies, I agree, but it seems even in interviews he doesn't want to claim full accountability. I think that was taken out of context that Daesh claimed. Well, oh, and we have Ryan.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, it's a good afternoon so far because I believe Liverpool have just lost at home to Nottingham Forest, even though we kind of want Forest to be losing. But how often do Liverpool lose a game at home? I can't remember the last time that happened.
Well, at least the town of Liverpool has 20 minutes of positivity. If it's 0-0, I think the Everton fans will be happy, but it's not going to take long. Do you think do you see a
Yeah.
win in our future? I've got a bright light orb in the background of my camera here. I don't think that's very likely over at Aston Villa. Miracles happen, but I don't see it happening. But we also don't have a strong Aston Villa squad. Maybe we get away with it because Ashley Young isn't right back, and there's no one to really test him unless it's Luka Dean. Maybe we get lucky.
I
Maybe.
tactically what I want today, but I'm still just kind of surprised that Liverpool have lost the game. And no, it won't oversee anything that Everton do today. Everton come first always, but it's nice to see that they've lost a match because I don't think they'd lost the game at home for 2 years. So, but I'm looking at some of the other scores. I'm looking at these with fresh eyes, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
I did watch the Man United Southampton game, and I thought Man United were very good. I thought they were playing 1 and 2 touch football. Xerxes, who is a former Everton trialist, impressing me.
Mm-hmm.
I have just seen these other results now. City obviously winning, Fulham drawing. Apparently they were very dominant. I'm pleased to see that Leicester have dropped points there because Leicester were 2-0 up.
Mm-hmm.
The Brighton one's a bit of a concern. Is that a full-time result?
Yeah. I'll
Yeah, I
double
mean,
check. It was the low block committed effort from Ipswich to get that across the line. They were not menacing at all and just shut them
yeah.
down.
It's a horrible, horrible result for Everton and a horrible result for Brighton. We need to do something today. We need to pull a rabbit out the hat. But when I saw that team, Chris, I just thought you're playing the same old jokers, Keane, Tarkowski, Young, and Mikalenko, and you're gonna try and expect something different to happen. But everyone knows that insanity is repeating the same thing and expecting something new. So
Yeah.
that defense really does worry me. It can only play low block, and even in the low block, when we dropped against Bournemouth in the last match, we just got done. We couldn't stop the cross. So is that the Villa team?
Yep. So yeah, they had I keep forgetting the fellow's name here. Let me grab him quickly. Leon Bailey being injured is a huge help for Everton.
Wow, that is a big, big plus.
So lucky for us, because Jacob Ramsey should be good. He hasn't done well recently. He's kind of been on the fringes. They have 4 central midfielders, and 2 of them are slotted into the wings to me. So
Mm.
that's the advantage we have as Mikalenko and Young shouldn't really be tested. Maybe Luka Dean on the left. Or Rogers goes out wide or something.
You've got the problem of Luka Dean bombing on for Villa.
Mm-hmm.
John McGinn probably took inside, and Bogard will go on the right. You've got to worry about Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins. Well, Ollie Watkins with his pace and his jinking runs in behind someone like Keane and Mikalenko.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, but we know what we're getting with Onana. We know what Tielemans is about. So you've got to be careful. Stop the shot from the edge of the box from Tielemans. And Luka Dean's going to put some decent balls in. But aerially, we should be good. It's more on the floor I'm worried about when the low balls go across. Can Garner Gay and Tim Irabunum get in and try and intercept them, set that back four, who are like a bunch of wet lettuces, in all honesty.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tactical things that I can say from an Everton perspective of what I want to see, but I definitely agree that it's nice to see Aston Villa are missing a few players, because really where their threat has always been against us is with true dynamic wingers, and I'm not 100% sure they've got that. They've lost, as you say, what's his face, Bailey, and
Yeah, Leon Bailey.
the one they sold for megabucks to Saudi Arabia. So Musa Diaby, who's way too good.
Yeah, and then we lost. They lost Diaby, and then they had I'm forgetting the center. The guy that played as a number 6, Douglas Luiz, was quite good for them last season. So he's out, and then they have not Konza. They've got one other player who's out injured for them as well. Boubacar Kamara, Matty Cash. He's gone through phases of scoring, but he's quite a liability for them in my view. So. But them not having Kamara, well, the reality is they still have Ross Barkley in the middle. So I think they're going to outmuscle us unless somehow James Garner subs in for a tired Gay in the second half. And at the same time, you have Barkley coming in for Tielemans, and Onana is just a physical menace. Because You know what I'm actually thinking? Amadou Onana scores a late goal from the back post, and Everton haven't learnt their lessons yet. And Onana will just like rub it in after feeling like he didn't get his opportunity. And now he's on a great new squad. Congratulations to him. And we're up shit creek and don't have a point. And Ipswich have won after
Yeah.
five matches.
We're rock bottom apart from Southampton. The Ipswich result was really concerning. We need at least a draw today. We need a platform to go on and do something with. I am surprised in a way that he hasn't gone with a back five. The last time we played Aston Villa, we played with a back five to try and nullify the threat on the wings and to allow us to press with an extra man, but have that defensive solidity. So a three at the back can become five. In the game we played against Aston Villa in the league last season, Ashley Young was basically playing for Villa. I can't stand that. He literally was playing for Villa. And he's in there today at right back. He was a good left winger in his heyday, but he's not a good player anymore. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked, but we got battered, and then we got done on the transition, basically. Villa the first time we played them. Might need to just change the camera a second. We'll come back to that screenshot. We played them on the... We got done on the transition every single time against them last time in the Premier League match. So the ball would break down, we wouldn't be careful with the ball, and Villa would run up the other end and score, or they'd create a chance like a knife through butter. We changed that when we played them in the cup. We went with a back 3/5. We pinned onto Villa. Every time they took the ball, we were on them like a flash, not allowing them to turn, and right in their faces, pressing for all their defenders. And it was a really good performance. We won the game 2-1, I think. We could have won it by more. But we were quite clever when Villa got kind of beyond that first initial press of our pressing their defenders. We'd then drop back into a kind of a shape, a more disciplined, deeper shape, and then would wait to spring moments to counter-attack them. And I think we needed to do that today. I think the back four with Vitaly Mykolenko, he's not really up against major top tier today, but he's not good for me. Young's not good for me, and Tarkowski's fallen off a cliff. So there is a major...
I think he's playing with Keane, and he just doesn't have a reliable partner. But at the same time, yeah, if Keane is, and this is a weird thing to say, Keane has probably played better than Tarkowski. The problem is when it comes to defensive lapses and watching his six, Keane is always a liability, and you blink and he's gone from an 8 out of 10 to a 4. Why would today be any different?
The thought of Michael Keane shrugging his shoulders up, sticking his arm in the air when he couldn't stop a goal is not what I want to see. This man's made 250 appearances for Everton, and absolutely...
Well, I was trying to add to the point that Tarkowski has been playing poor enough that Keane has looked almost better, and that says a lot.
Who's on the bench, Chris?
So on the bench we have João Virginia, Roman Dixon, Jacob Bryan, Armstrong, James Garner, Mangala being thrown in was a surprise to me. Yes, Lindstrom is there as a wing option, Beto, and then Decore. So a lot of central midfielders actually. And if James Garner is a widget or a flexible character here, maybe throw him at right back if Young is struggling, which honestly I think could.
The James Garner at right back thing's a load of bollocks. He played there a couple of times in home games. And
he's just, to me, he's better than Young in that position. And if you're not going to play Dixon, that's why I'm saying it. Because I would prefer Dixon every day.
Anyone's better than Young. But when I thought he was going to do the team, I didn't think he'd have the bollocks to drop Jack Harrison, because I think he gives you energy. He just doesn't give you any sort of end product that the likes of... Listen, Lindstrom isn't ready. Mangala's only just joined in with the group after 2 days. Garner's lost his place to Irabunum. He has to earn that back. Calvert-Lewin he had a woeful pre-season, and I really don't like his attitude. I don't know what's gone on. I wonder whether we truly haven't offered the contract, because we've stopped offering big contracts. And I wonder whether we haven't actually met a reasonable sort of contract for him. But Beto can't break in. Armstrong is in and around the group. That's nice to see. But could Branthwaite have got on the bench? Jacob Bryan, I saw him for Ireland, and I didn't think he was very good. Didn't put a foot in, didn't get a tackle in, didn't do anything, and then he didn't play in the next game. So I don't know what's going on with him. And
Mhm.
Dixon, I really would have played Roman Dixon because
It's
Dixon is
not he wasn't the reason we lost 4-0, Ryan.
Dixon's got legs. I know what I'm getting with Young. I listen. Anything better than you know what you're getting with Ashley Young and Keane in the back line. So what difference will it make by going with O'Brien and Dixon? Why spend £18 million on the centre half?
Yeah.
You're not
And
playing.
the to Dominic's point here, I guess your view, and I'll to Dominic's question, the only reason or statement, the only reason he's playing Keane is because we have no one else, but as well as Branthwaite being injured, no one else, meaning that we do not trust Jake O'Brien. That
Yeah,
was he a waste of a signing? There's a lot of optimism, and Ryan, you felt that he just had one poor match because it seemed we were really excited about him, and we thought that what a excellent purchase of a player.
yeah.
He's got the right kind of physique long term. We need to breed him in. Are you having second doubts because of that one international match, and that you'd prefer is Keane actually the better player right now to put in that position? I haven't watched him enough to say, so I'm asking you that.
No, I thought he'd be a little bit more dynamic. I'm not judging him off George. You're entitled to your opinion, but I'm not judging him off the one game I saw where he came on against England for Ireland. I'm only going off what I've seen so far in this preseason. And in the preseason, he didn't look particularly inspiring, nor in the matches he's played in the cup.
But he got
Or
2 goals, Ryan. If we need someone who can score,
he
we
wasn't
maybe he's a little bit better than Keane
playing
and
at.
can still put a foot in.
You know, we, we haven't seen a lot of him. I think the biggest thing is that Dyche isn't willing to play an £18 million central defender, full international, ahead of Keane, who has, with all due respect, he's a lovely guy. We met Michael Keane. He is a gent, but he's probably not the standard of what we're trying to do. We need defenders who can do 1v1 against mobile. In the Championship when it's more or League One, he'd be brilliant. But this is the Prem. You need 1v1 capabilities. Otherwise, you've always got to have someone holding your hand. And
Well,
listen,
if we're about to get flogged
how many
today,
goals we
and the only thing, well,
Salford we got
honestly,
Coventry.
I think we're kind of stuck because the only way we're going to see him is if King gets injured, and there are these players that we want to see. Maybe he doesn't know the Ireland squad that well. He's new to it. And I think he just needs
No,
minutes as well.
some of the players you were getting in that Ireland team are not good. Not good. Ireland, not good. The centre half's not good. The manager's
Oh,
terrible. So, he's probably not ready. But, with Keane, I know what I'm getting. With Young, I know what I'm getting. And anything, I'm not surprised if it's 3-0 or 4-0. It doesn't matter what the rest of them do because you just know that they're going to get done. He's not good enough. There's players who are not good enough. And you've got players like Tarkovsky falling off a cliff. Mikalenko falling off a cliff this season so far. The back four is terrible. Look how many goals we've conceded this season and in pre-season. We conceded 3 against Sligo Rovers.
mhm.
Stop bullshit, everyone, when you're saying it's just about fitness. No, winning is a habit. Scoring goals is a habit. Keeping clean sheets is a habit. The squad mentality is a habit. We achieved nothing playing Mason Holgate in pre-season games. We achieved nothing. We should have played players we knew were going to be involved and got a winning mentality. We drew with Sligo Rovers. We lost to Salford, lost to Coventry.
Well, Coventry was horrible. We lost to Salford because we changed the back line in the last minute. We realized that entire back line of youth was
Okay,
not good enough.
fair enough. I'm being a little bit dramatic, but we're conceding too
Yes.
many. I mean, we
So
shouldn't be conceding a goal at home to Bournemouth. We shouldn't really be conceding more than 1 goal at home to Brighton. We shouldn't even concede it. I think at Goodison Park we should be not conceding goals and turning apart teams on your own patch, in your own ground. It's the last season at Goodison. You should be meticulous. And away from home, we are going to lose a lot of games because we simply haven't got the quality. You look at this team here, and there's no pace between Calvert-Lewin, McNeil, and Harrison. So when we do get the ball back, you haven't got the legs to get forward. Someone like Dixon in at right back has got speed.
mhm.
Lindstrom, the first thing he said in his interview was that he has speed. So this team hasn't got speed to do anything on the counter attack. Really, the only way that's going to work is if Villa overcommit. If we can hold on, if we can snuff out Villa and make it pretty disgusting for them, maybe nick a goal. Villa overexpose themselves, and we just kind of pick them off with clever play. But
Yes.
I think it's going to be as straightforward as that. And they've got a top goalkeeper and internationals all over that side, really. So
I wanted to bring up a comment from Emma in particular. So I think this really hits at the chord for a lot of people.
yeah,
Match day matters. I'm kind of trying to juggle having traveling and doing this show while also trying to enjoy Sorrento right now. So I'm not watching the match, but a lot of people that put time and effort to go to matches, home and away, or they're structuring how to watch the match live, and then they get demoralized. They feel like they're just told they don't know enough. Just be quiet. You're the noise. You're the keyboard warriors. And I just hope that we can start getting results again because it matters to people. And Emma's point here really hits home at that it just starts to deflate everyone on this channel. Yet, I guess annoyed people get more clicks, but that's not the point. I want a successful Everton where we're not saying, you know what, I just need Leicester to not give up points because what really matters is Everton can't get 3 points. We need everyone else not to get points. No, we need to be better than this. We're meant to be, or meant to be, is an entitled view, but Everton Football Club have had a long-standing reputation in the Premier League. We used to be in top 4, top 6 for a long time, and we're just kind of getting used to now being normalizing when we're like, we got over, we actually weren't, we were 12th in all consideration last year. Now we've normalized that we should go down after spending a bunch of money on signings, and that's okay. It isn't. I'm tired of it. But we're here. We have to try and be positive. Otherwise, why have a channel at all? Because we can just be angry and there's nothing about it here. So we need to try and find something, a nugget of enjoyment, or it's just going to wipe us out. And it's still early, Ryan. What's it? Match week 4, so I've got
yeah, but
18 times more of this to deal with, or whatever it is, 9 times more. We're only 1/9 of the way done after today.
I mean, I want to
11% done.
let's see what the comments are saying because I'm already watching the games of and following on the radio, for example, Leicester, Ipswich, and Southampton because I've seen nothing from us at the moment. Yes, we've played some good football, particularly against Bournemouth, but we haven't won a game. So you do start to panic and you think, shit, what's going on here? Are these teams going to get away from us? And could we find ourselves 6 points adrift? Already, with teams just doing it. Thankfully, they haven't pulled away just yet, and they've just drawn and Southampton have lost again. But it's infuriating. A lot of new faces in the comments. I appreciate them all, and make sure you're already subscribed. I'm sure Chris is going to wrap up in a few minutes. He's in Sorrento, in Italy, gorgeous place, and the last thing you want to do is waste time in Sorrento watching Everton defeated probably 3-0 today to Villa. But we've got hope. We have hope. Without hope, you've got nothing. And I'm hoping for a little pleasant surprise. And Dyche is just the thing that might go against Villa is they've got a Champions League game on Tuesday. They're probably thinking, I want to play in that. I don't want to get injured, etc., etc. They've also just had pretty much all of them have just come back from internationals. They're all international footballers. That goes against them with the preparation. Whereas Everton yes, they lost Mangala, but we never had him anyway. And Lindstrom never had him anyway. So yeah, I suppose, but I think it affects Villa slightly more than us. But Chris, I don't know who's on post match. I think it's Jan and Basil.
I believe so. I'm not gonna watch the match, so I can be like, well, I guess we lost because we did what we predicted before the match, but that won't be correct. Football's a dynamic and wonderful sport for that reason. But yeah, I do not expect to. I'm not sure who's coming on, but we should have coverage. I think at least 2 people scheduled on. Just won't be. Maybe you'll jump on for a bit, but I won't be available. I'm hoping for a miracle 1-1, but in reality, I think we lose 3-0 and maybe get a lame duck penalty to just say, well, we gave you one this year at the 90th minute, and the game is over. That's how I feel today's going to go. I really hope not, but I appreciate a lot of people jumping on. George was very active today. Gary was back. We had, I think, the Blues, Toffee Blue. Mr. Blue Skies. Emma was on. We had someone,
Roy?
and someone from Aston Villa calling in from Indonesia, Ryan. So really cool to get people getting up early around the world and choosing to watch this pre-match with us. So that's really nice to see and
Yeah,
appreciate your interest.
Doug's, Eugene, all the rags,
And
Dominic.
Eugene as well. Yeah, for sure.
Man.
So
Smash the
we
like
can
button.
say, hopefully, we get a surprise package here that Villa are underperforming, and Everton can be the proud victors today. We get on the board, and we have a whole week of Everton not being the lame ducks of Liverpool City for a bit, and we have a week to celebrate. How about that?
That song, Everton, like singing the blues. That's what we want. So,
all right.
Thanks for Chris. Thanks for putting this great show on.
All right. Catch you later, guys.
Take care.